Hey guys, welcome back to Hobo's Hollow for our full shop challenge, the series in which we are going to buy every single piece of machinery in the shop. We're going to buy every single field on this map. It's a 4X map called Hobo's Hollow. We're going to work every field, run every crop type, every single production chain possible. Base game. I'm not got any crazy mods or anything. I've got a few. Most of them are by Giant Software, as you can see here. We've got the DLC packs, some of them, not all of them. And then, yeah, some Giant Software mods as well. Anyways, as you can see, it is August. Last episode, we did plant sorghum on fields 1 and 4. We've got corn on 2 and 3 that is going to be ready to harvest this episode. But first things first, today, we're going to be spraying off all those weeds on fields 1 and 4. So let's hop in our Fendt favorite 515C and do exactly that. As you may be aware, we do have some greenhouses over here. We've got a grain mill that we're turning wheat into flour right now. We then take that flour to our bakery we bought and produce bread, and that's going to be our moneymaker, pretty big moneymaker on the farm for a little while. Looky there. Some pretty good growth in there. This is a tiny field, field 4. It is the smallest on the map, I believe. I'm not certain as to whether it is or not, but it looks like the smallest field on the map, so I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably the smallest on the map. Regardless of that, it is probably too small for my liking. Takes me like 2 minutes to plant it and 3 minutes to harvest it or something like that, so I'm going to eventually put down some productions here, or maybe a big shed or something. And of course, there are hundreds of vehicles and implements in the store, so we're going to need a big storage section on the map for that. It's part of the reason why I went with a 4X map, is so I'd have enough room to store my equipment as well as to work the fields. Like the base game maps, this is 4 times as large as that. The base game maps, there's not really much big fields in them. Some of them have some decent sized fields, but like we're buying every single piece of equipment in the game, and so yeah, you'd need some massive fields in order to do that comfortably, and that's what I've gone with. It's kind of hard to see these weeds. I'm struggling, so I know you guys probably are too. We can always check here and see, yep, we're killing them off pretty good. Sorghum's kind of a weird texture. It looks pretty cool though. From the the side profile from the top, it looks kind of sparse and bare. I think I may have missed a weed or two there. One more little half pass, and then we'll be going on to field 1, which is our largest field. We've got 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I've thought about buying them in order. I think that wouldn't be terrible to do, so we might be doing that. Anyways, let's just hit this last spot here, and we'll narrow the sprayer down so we're just spraying on the spots we haven't sprayed yet. I want to conserve herbicide as much as I can. I only have $10,500 in my account. Don't have enough to be throwing it away on extra herbicide. Depending on how fast the corn harvest goes this episode, we may venture into winter and be selling some stuff, because we do have some canola. Let's just go down to my time-saving stock check mod. We've got some canola to sell, straw to sell. We've also got our bread. And then in February, which I don't think we'll be getting that far, we can also sell our produce from our greenhouses. Speaking of greenhouses, let's go ahead and check on our production chains to see how they're doing. So at the bakery, we still got about 35,000 liters of flour, and we got plenty of storage space for bread. As you can see there, it's not quite full. The grain mill, we don't have as much storage space, so we're probably going to have to, this month, move some flour pallets out of the way so that new ones can spawn. Still got a healthy amount of wheat in there, so we're going to be making tons of flour. Now, as for the greenhouses, I could probably do with a load of water in both of them, but they do have plenty of space for more pallets, so we don't need to be worrying about that. Let's get this back to the full width, fold it up, and head over into field 1. This playthrough is a little bit interesting and unique compared to everything I've ever done, especially with the tractors. Usually when you buy a new tractor, you don't have to actually have enough to pay for the entire tractor because you've got an older tractor you're probably trading in to get it. Same for like a harvester and seeders. When you buy a new harvester, you can sell your old one. Well, on this playthrough, I'm trying to own everything in the map, or everything in the game, so when I buy a new harvester, I don't sell my old one. So, unfortunately, it is going to be much more difficult to make enough money to buy all the equipment. I've got some ideas. It is going to be a long-running series, though. Nobody's done this before on YouTube, so kind of, yeah, pushing frontier space here. I have no idea how long it's going to take, but I hope you guys are here for the ride, as I am. We'll get into a bit of a time lapse here. I'm not going to show you the whole thing. It's kind of hard to see the weeds, so I'm sure it's not showing up well on YouTube. So enjoy the time lapse. Gonna go ahead and hire a worker on this one. I can't really see the weeds well enough to do that myself. So the worker's, he just knows what he's doing a lot better than I do, so I'm gonna go ahead and let him work on that. As you can see, it's killing the weeds, no problem at all. I'm just gonna go back and forth on the field for a bit, get that done, and then we should be, well, actually, while that worker's doing that, let's just go ahead and check out the grain mill. As you can see, it's full. It only spawns 6 pallets at a time. I kind of wish it was a bigger spawning area so we could get 12, but can't do it that way, unfortunately. And my forklift is way up at the bakery, which is right here on the map, sort of in the town center. It's a 4x map, so this distance here is a lot longer than you may think it is. Oh. I was going through a picnic bench there. Wow. And, yeah, it's a longer distance than it looks like. This forklift has a max speed of 14 miles an hour, so I'm going to go ahead and do that really long task. The stupid worker already thinks he's done. How do you think you're done there? I'm confused. What made you stop? I've never had that happen before. Usually, like, sometimes they'll stop at the end of a row, like up here, but he just stopped in the middle there. Weird. Alright, I'm gonna get this forklift back. We're gonna move those pallets out of the way at the grain mill. So I'll see you then. Well, this worker's being stupid and can't figure out how to drive on this field, so I'm gonna have to do it myself. I found that if I zoom way out, I can kind of see the weeds. They're that lighter green there on the right side of my spraying bar. So as long as I just hit where the lighter green is, it'll kill off most of the weeds probably, and my yield won't be terrible. I think you lose like 15 to 30% of your yield with weeds on it, so I don't want to lose that. Obviously, that's a big amount of yield, so I'm gonna just do this zoomed way out, and then we'll get our forklift up to the grain mill and get those pallets moved. Then after that, we'll be moving into what comes next, September. Forgot my months there for a second. We'll be moving into September and starting the corn harvest. Hopefully. I don't know if they'll be ready next month. It may be October before they're ready, but yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. Alright, we finally made it to the grain mill. As you can see, we are down to a little over $8,000 now instead of $10,500, and that's because I had to buy a pallet of herbicide for that one field one that I was doing. Let's get these pallets out of the way, and then there will be nothing standing in between me and the corn harvest except one night's rest. push them probably about to the edge of the grass there. And I think I'm going to have to do this like 3 or 4 more times. Just to get these pallets out of the way. Now ideally I'd have a trailer here to load them up. And I may have to go get my trailer and do just that. It's right now, it's at the bakery. Where we're making our bread is where that trailer's at now. Let's get out of the way here. It's kind of a tricky little turnaround there. Very good. Now, I've run out of space to push them, so I'm going to have to actually pick them up and move them the right way instead of just shoving them. Just try and get lined up pretty well. See how big these tongs can be apart in the forks. This seems pretty good. I think I can pick up 2 at a time, so. Actually, a smarter thing to do would have been just to back straight up, wait for a new pallet to spawn, and then go back in there again. But, I'm not always smart, so. Anyways, we'll get these out of the way. And then we'll be moving on to September, sorry. Alrighty guys, it's September now. And as you can see here, the corn is ready for harvest. So we're going to go hop in our combine and get over there to the fields. Before we do that, before we start the harvest, we're going to need to buy or rent a corn header. I'm going to look and see how expensive they are to rent. $53,000 to buy, $2,700 to lease. And then the one that's slightly bigger is going to be $5,000 to lease. So we're gonna go with the smaller one. And I'm gonna drive the combine up to the store. We're gonna go and grab the corn header, and then get to the field, and we'll start our harvest. We've arrived at the field. Let's get this thing unfolded. Turn off our hazards and our beacon lights. And let's see, I'll do one little end row here. I guess I'll back out on the road. Should have left the hazards on. Do a couple end rows here to start the corn harvest. This is an 8-row header, so not very large, but the fields aren't huge, so I mean, there's a lot of corn there, but it's not going to take forever, so yeah, very good. It's getting sucked down nice and good into the header. Yields are looking pretty good. That's the way things are with corn. I think it's the highest yielding normal crop, if you can call it a normal crop, in the game. Sugar beets and potatoes and sugarcane all yield higher, but they're root crops, and sugarcane's special, so yeah, corn yields really high. It's a pretty good cash crop, which is what we'll be doing with this, turning it right into money. We're not going to do any productions. I think the only production that you can do with corn is cereal production, so we don't have any of the other ingredients for cereal, so we won't be doing that. I believe it's oats, raisins, honey, and corn make cereal. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Anyways, got the end rows done. Let's go ahead and head down the field. Very good. Yeah, we've already got 2,000 liters, so there's going to be a lot of corn coming off this field. I'm really excited for this harvest. It is corn harvest season right now where I live, so I've been helping with that. Yeah, it's a good thing I'm still excited about it. I do wish we had a better corn texture though. It's not the best. Pretty golden. I don't know. Where I'm from, it's more of a pale yellow, but it's good. It's a lot better than it used to be, that's for sure. Farming Simulator 17 is the last one I had, and this corn texture looks a lot better. All the textures too. The jump from 17 to 22 was immense. It was amazing. So yeah, Giant Software is doing a good job with this game. I suppose I should probably think about getting the Fent out here with our grain trailer, because with how high this is yielding, we're going to need it pretty soon. We're already almost halfway full, and we're just doing the outline of the field right now. So I'm going to do an end row here as well. Very good. As you can see over there, the sorghum field has been growing really fast. That's 2 months of progress. Oops, I'm missing a row. That over there is 2 months of progress, and they're already looking like they're 1 month away from harvest, which is ridiculous. They grow so fast. So yeah, we'll be harvesting those at some point. I don't know if we'll get to that in today's episode. We got a lot to do yet, but we'll see how long this corn harvest takes, and we'll be getting that soon. If not this harvest, it'll be soon. So yep, I'll crack on here. Get you a nice time lapse, and let's get this field going. It has been quite a while since I've been playing here. We did get some good work done on the field, as you can see. Still got quite a ways to go though, so I'm going to get on that. I'm not quite sure how long this episode even is, honestly, so far, so I would imagine we're probably not going to be getting into the sorghum this episode. I do need to check. We can plant wheat, barley, canola, and oats on this field, so I'll probably get around to flipping this field. We only have $4,000 though, so there's not a lot of money to go around. And we are renting this corn header, so I don't want to be using it too much. We do have the straw to sell. Let's see what we've got to sell, actually. That would be a good thing to do. It's saying we have $338,000 of stuff. And most of that money comes from our straw, our flour, and our bread. We're not going to be selling the flour, though, unless we absolutely need to buy something and don't have the money for it. I'm going to be selling the bread. Oops, I keep pressing the wrong one. Which is still a little ways off. I think January is the best time to sell, and it is only September right now, so we do have a ways to go. Matter of fact, the straw and the canola will be sold around then as well. And I'll honestly probably just leave the canola. Maybe plant that here on this field, just so we can have because I don't really want to fill a trailer with 5,500 liters of canola to go sell it for $12,000. I would rather plant canola here on this field and wait and sell that 5,000 liters that I already have with this field whenever it's matured and ready to harvest. So unless I'm really short on money, which I kind of am right now, I'll just hold off on the canola. But I can plant canola right now, I think, yes, and that would be ready to harvest in June, so I wouldn't be against that. But before we do any of that, we do need to get the corn off of this field. And that trailer over there is almost full. Let me see just how close it is. 86%, so honestly, I'm going to go and dump that. And we're just going to take that to our farm. There's not the right time to sell corn right now. Get the beacons on. Okay, when is the correct time to sell corn? Or the best time to sell corn, actually? June. So, quite the wait. How much of a difference would it be if I just sold it now? It's 1,400 max. It's not even 1,000 right now, so we're going to want to hang on to it. I'm not going to get a payday on that for a while. What about sorghum? So the sorghum will be a quick turnaround, so I can sell the sorghum and the straw in January, as well as the bread in January, and we should make a solid amount of money there. And that should be plenty. Let me see if I have a loan. I don't remember. I do not have a loan, so that's good. And plus we've got the greenhouse produce to sell as well. Again, I do apologize if I'm repeating anything. It has been probably a month or more since I last recorded here on this map. Just been super busy. I moved to a different state, so I've had a lot on my plate, but we're back again. We've got time for it, which is good. Just gonna sell the corn, or store the corn, sorry. And honestly, that should be a decent payday. It's already saying $44,000, so that was just one trailer. We'll probably get at least one more trailer, so a good 90,000 there as well. Very good. And the corn can honestly be used with productions, so it can lead to an even bigger payday. The only production it can be used for, although, is cereal production, which also requires oats and raisins and honey. So yeah, the raisins would really be the troublesome spot there, because you need grapes, which is expensive. You need a harvester, which is expensive for the grapes, and specialized equipment. You can't use that equipment for anything other than grapes and olives. So I think we're going to time this quite nicely. We'll get to that harvester right when he's ready to unload, and he's going the correct direction. I'm going to drive through this guy's drive-through though. Hopefully he's at work and doesn't see me. And this will be the second to last pass that this guy does, because there's just a couple of... Wow, that was pretty close there on the auger. It is tall enough, but just barely for this trailer. What was I saying? Yes, grapes require specific equipment that can't be used for anything other than grapes and olives. In addition, the vineyards are also quite expensive, so in order to do grapes, it's very expensive. Then you have to own the grape processing plant, which is another like $60,000 to $80,000, and you turn the grapes into raisins in order to use for cereal production. So, in my opinion, the cereal production is not going to happen for a long time. Obviously, as I have plans to do every single type of production in the game, it's going to have to happen at some point. So I do have plans for grapes, but as I said, those are very expensive. So those are probably going to be one of the last crop types that we get into, alongside like just the specialized crops like grapes, olives, sugar beet, potatoes, and sugar cane are all very expensive. Very expensive crops. So I don't think I'm going to be making cereal anytime soon, unfortunately. There are mods you can install to like buy pallets of grapes or buy pallets of raisins, specifically for that purpose of being able to make productions with stuff that you don't necessarily have the ability to grow yet. But yeah, I feel like that kind of defeats the whole purpose. If I have plans to do grapes at some point anyways, I wouldn't want to buy pallets of raisins. It just doesn't make sense. I just have to wait. The productions we're doing now, though, are good. Making flour and then making bread. And with the bakery as well, actually. There's a whole thing I haven't even delved into yet, which is cake. That would maybe be another next thing to shoot for. Honestly, the oil mill might be better, actually. The oil mill is a one-step process. You just take a crop, turn it into oil, and sell it. There's no extra processes. Whereas with the bakery, you have to either give it flour for bread, or you need to give it flour, sugar, milk, eggs, butter, and strawberries. So you have to have the sugar production, which is I think 80,000 to 110,000, something like that. Milk and butter come from the dairy. So that's 2 extra production chains you have to own. Plus you have to own a greenhouse, which I already have, and eggs, or chickens, which make eggs. So that's a lot of different things leading into one item, but cake does sell very well. So it is worth it if you can't afford it. As you can see, our pallets of flour here are piling up. We've got tons of them. So these are not my pallets. These are my pallets here. Those are just decorations, which is pretty cool, honestly. It's a little storage bay for flour. It's pretty neat. So I'm going to get our forklift and move them out of the way yet again. I've already done that several times, honestly. It's it'll get old fast. Let's just say that. I've said this before, but I wish the spawning area for these pallets was much bigger. Because certain flower productions that I've seen, at least, they can spawn like 24 of these at once, or like 16, whereas this can only spawn 6. So it's really small, and it's unfortunate, because it requires a lot of upkeep, you know. If we look down here, it's already a fifth of the way full on flour. And I still have, 88,000 liters of wheat to produce into flour, so like it takes a lot of upkeep to keep it running, whereas I wish it could just be every couple of days or every couple of months I just move the flour out of the way instead of moving the flour every single day multiple times a day. Not the worst thing in the world, though. Sometimes it takes a while for these to spawn in. There it is. I mean, this has already taken like a couple of minutes. And I've only moved 4 pallets, so it takes like a minute or 2 for each set of pallets, which is a little annoying, to be honest. And it can take up a lot of time, so it might be good at some point to look into some other method of doing this. I don't want to auto-load. Auto-load would be a great way to do this. Get one of those big trailers like I have, the big pallet trailers. But instead of having to load it manually, just sit it like right here where my forklift is, and it'll automatically grab the pallets as soon as they spawn in and just place them in the trailer. Kind of like an auto-load feature. That would be pretty sweet. But yeah, I'm not sure I want to do that. So for the time being, we'll just muscle it out and grab the pallets as they spawn in. We've only got 2 more pallets to spawn, so it won't be terrible. It's annoying having to move these pallets all the time. And I don't necessarily want to make you guys watch it all the time, because it's probably not the most entertaining thing, but it is something that happens. Therefore, I think it should be documented at least a little bit. Just kind of give you a background check into what goes into these productions. Let's check on the harvester. It's about 80% full, so I'm going to go ahead and cart for it, because it's about to have its auger on the correct side for me. Do I have any leased vehicles? I should check that. Yes, that's right. The corn header and the bale loader. I'll be using the bale loader to sell the bales, so I'm not ready to get rid of that yet. We will. I'm gonna return the corn header right after we get this done, just because I don't have lease to own, so there's no way of me buying the corn head after I've leased it for a while. I have to return it and then actually buy the corn head brand new, or from the used vehicle market, which doesn't necessarily have the most things in it right now. And the odds of it having this specific corn head are astronomically low. There are hundreds of machines in the store. So I'm going to return it right when we get this field done, because we don't need it for the sorghum. There's another 20,000. I think we can get this whole bit of the field in there. So I'm going to move these pallets out of the way. Is there not another pallet to spawn? No, there's not. Okay. I'm going to move these pallets out of the way, and then I'll check back in with you guys once we're ready to finish up that cornfield and kind of get things packed away. And that's probably where I'm going to call it for this episode. So, yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Right, we've got the pallets put away, and this is the last pass here in the cornfield, and that'll be done with the corn harvest for today. It's yielded pretty well. Not amazing, though. I think that's just going to come down to the soil type here. Of course, this yellow streak is because there's only 6 rows instead of 8. So that's why it's yielding, looking like it's yielding lower here. But in this back section here, it's yielding about 120% probably, maybe 115. But in the bigger section of the field, probably the larger 2/3 of the field, that's maybe more like 3/4 of the field, is at like 90% yield, which is good, don't get me wrong. But it's not the best, so the yield was good but not great. Hopefully this will all fit in here. I think it will. I think it'll do just fine. And honestly, how is our header situated? Is it just a head on the ground or is it on a trailer? I think it's on a trailer, yeah. So I'll just leave the harvester here. Yeah, it looks like it'll fit. I'll just leave the harvester here and return that corn head remotely, because I've got the sorghum harvest that I'm doing literally next month, so I'll just park this here and return that header before I forget, because I'm bound to just... Let's fold it up, actually. We can roleplay a little bit. I don't want any rain getting in there. Okay. So the first load was 29,000 liters, and this one's 30,000. So yeah, we're looking right about $90,000 worth of corn, which is very good. But I won't get to reap the benefits from this until next July, so it's going to be quite some time. Whoa, I'm all over the road here. The good news is all of the corn will fit pretty nicely in 2 of these containers, 2 of these trailers, so there's no need to make a third tiny trip with like 2,000 liters in it, which is always annoying. And I honestly don't see this field staying around much longer. Once we start getting a lot of money, I'll be probably putting down a production there instead of that tiny little field. Maybe it'll stick around for a while, I don't know. I don't think it's very likely, though. The good news is there's not a lot of cleanup to do. I just dumped the trailer. And this stays here. This forklift will sit here. There's already another pallet spawn. That's crazy. Let's check before I go to sleep on the greenhouse. Probably could use some more water, but I can wait until next month for that. So I'm going to park this here because it'll be heading towards the sorghum field tomorrow, which will be next video. And then I'm going to get 4755 hooked up to the water trailer, and that's where I'll start next episode. So feel free to tune in probably in a few days for that. I'm not sure what my upload schedule is going to look like, but I'll hopefully be putting out some video or another every other day or every 3 days. So, yep, it was a good harvest. Got the corn off the field pretty quickly. It's about noon, so definitely not a long day of work. Once we get more fields, it'll be more taxing in terms of our time, but let's see what this sorghum field is going to yield. The potential, at least for this part of the field, is 80%, and we're looking at 72%, which is because we didn't spread lime before this planting. We spread lime before the last planting, which means it's already had one harvest on it, so the pH value is good but not bad, as you can see in the bottom right. So I think there's probably better yielding parts of the field. Yeah, so traditionally this yellow part is going to yield 85 to 90%, whereas the light green will yield more like 95 to 100%, with some of the parts being at 105, at least last harvest. So the yield could be slightly better, it could be slightly worse, we don't know for sure. But next episode we will be harvesting the sorghum for sure, probably running a load of flour from our grain mill up to the bakery, which is up here. And yeah, doing some work for our greenhouses. One thing I did want to mention, quick disclaimer while I grab this pallet, I am currently working on slightly rebranding the channel with a name change. I've been Fast Farmer almost the whole time I've been doing this, which has been about a year and a quarter, I think. So 13 months, or sorry, 14 or 15 months it's been. But yeah, and I've been doing primarily Farming Simulator content. I do want to switch to more of a combination style where I do Farming Simulator and some other games. Forza Motorsport is one of them. It's a game just came out a couple of weeks ago, and I am quite good at it. There will be a video coming out soon where I do some rivals, which is kind of like a time trial on a certain racetrack. So that's very exciting. Doing quite well at that, so I figure I'll probably maybe do some videos on that. And then Minecraft as well. It's a game I really enjoy. I've done a video on it on the channel where I built a big wheat farm, because that, you know, it kind of pertains to what I do here in Farming Simulator. I do want to do a hardcore series, and I know that's kind of cliche, but I do really like that. It's one of the things I wanted to do when I decided to start a YouTube channel. So yeah, I feel like kind of breaking down the walls in a controlled manner and starting some other gameplays that'll hopefully be enjoyable for you guys if you know, prefer Farming Simulator content. Hopefully it's still entertaining enough, and I think it'll bring some new people to the channel and be a unique twist on my style of gameplay. So I think it'll be pretty good, and I enjoy the games. I like the creative aspect of Minecraft as well as Farming Simulator. You know, there's a lot you can do here, starting from little and building things up. So that's where I'm going to leave it for today. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.